Yeah, I'll react to that, sure.
Don't give up. You can do it. What's up, all my beautiful people?
No!
How y'all doing today? Good, if you say good. Not good if you said bad. All right, let's do another History Matters reaction video. Let's go. Original video down the link like always, or down in the description like always. What happened to the last emperor of China? Great channel, check them out. Let's do it. Reaction.
This world is the result of your broken relationship. If you want to go home, you need to find what you've lost.
That's pretty cool.
China's history is one of emperors and dynasties. Until it wasn't, that is, when in 1911 the Chinese Revolution saw the millennia-old imperial way of government completely upended and replaced with a republic. But what happened to the man at the top? What happened to the last emperor of China? Well, to start with, the man was a boy. When Sun Yat-sen, the leader of the Chinese Revolution, put a permanent end to the Qing dynasty, the Xuanzong emperor was 6 years old.
I'm sorry, how does that happen? I know not just Chinese emperors, but with kings and queens. I get that you want to keep it in the family, but how? Two things. How the hell do you think that a kid is going to be able to run and make big decisions? I know what you're going to say, you know, there are people around and making big decisions, but that's part of my next part is how do you not know, you must know, that he's just going to be taken advantage of? He's not going to know anything, and he's just going to be, you know, I get that they really want to keep it in the line and that they're more of a figurehead than they are any real big decision maker, but still, I just don't get why civilizations have little kids as the head, you know, the ruler.
Now, the establishment of a republic didn't see him dragged outside and killed like many emperors and kings had been before him. Instead, the Xuanzong emperor, proper name Eizinggyoro Puyi, was allowed to remain inside the Forbidden Palace, was given a massive yearly stipend, and would retain his titles. Puyi would stay in the Forbidden City for 12 years, during which he was briefly restored as emperor in 1917 during a rebellion against the central government. His second reign lasted for just shy of 2 weeks, and the rebellion was defeated and he was again removed from power. In 1924, the Republican government decided that Puyi should go and so evicted him from his palace, and he subsequently moved to the city of Tianjin. In the following decade, Puyi attempted to bargain with the numerous warlords throughout China, which was in a near-permanent state of civil war, to support his restoration. They all said no. In 1931, Japan occupied Manchuria and set up the puppet state of Manchukuo, which had near-zero international recognition and thus needed some legitimacy. Fortunately for Japan, there was a former Chinese emperor able to take the helm, and he was happy to do so, and so took up the position of chief executive of Manchukuo in 1932. He was appointed as the emperor of Manchukuo in 1934, but he was simply a figurehead of the government there, and most of the governing was done by the Japanese military.
I love the Japanese
so in
imperial flag,
1937, a small regional conflict broke out between the Empire of Japan and the Republic of China, and Puyi saw an opportunity here to be restored as the emperor of all China, although he'd have to do without Mongolia this time because, you know, communist revolution. And to keep him in line, the Japanese consistently reminded him of his pending restoration. There was one interesting thing about this Japanese promise. It was a lie. The Japanese were working with a collaborationist government in China to establish a republican puppet state, and they determined that Puyi was going to remain in Manchuria. All of this discussion was meaningless though, because Japan lost the war, and during the closing months the Soviet Union conquered Manchuria and captured Puyi. Now, he was quite worried at this point because Axis leaders had a tendency of getting Nuremberged. He wasn't, and instead...
I'd like to, because I know China and Russia are pretty close, you know, somewhat close. I think it's kind of a relationship of, you know, we are very, it's in each other's both interests to stick together, but kind of like back of the head, not so friendly. But I didn't know that the Soviet Union, it makes sense now, took over Manchuria at the end of World War II, and I wonder when they gave it back to China.
Instead, he was held in Siberia and pled to the Allies to spare him since the Republican government in China wanted to shoot him as a collaborator. In 1949, the Chinese communists won the Civil War, and as an act of good faith, he was extradited there the next year. Now, you'd think that this was only going to end one way for Puyi, but in fact, Mao wanted him extradited specifically. Now, you'd think Chinese...
What island is that? Maybe someone in the comments. Because that's Taiwan. I was about to say Hong Kong, but obviously that's not Hong Kong. I think Hong Kong is like here or here. Yeah, if anyone knows, what that island is. I'd like to know.
Communists won the civil war, and as an act of good faith, he was extradited there the next year. Now, you'd think that this was only going to end one way for Pu Yi, but in fact, Mao wanted him extradited specifically so that he could spare him. Pu Yi spent 10 years in prison and was subsequently released as not only a regular private citizen, but also as a fully fledged communist, which for Mao was exactly what he'd wanted. You see, the Russians had shot their former emperor, an act which had become a black mark on its regime, whereas Mao had spared the former Chinese emperor, which certainly made Chinese communism look a lot better in comparison. The last Chinese emperor had, after his removal from power, been a puppet emperor, a prisoner, a street cleaner, and an editor before he died in 1967. And with him died the last of a 2,000-year-old system of government. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and thank you for watching. With a special thanks to my Patreon supporters, James Bizanet.
Awesome channel. How does it not have 1 million subscribers yet? It should. Great channel. See you guys. I'll be back with another one soon. Hey everyone, thanks so much for liking, subscribing, watching, commenting, whatever. Always suggest a video in the comments or critique something I can do better. Really appreciate it. Check out these videos right here, other ones on my channel. All right, thanks guys. Please, see you guys. Bye.